warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam damai sejahtera untuk kita semua. Nama saya Almira Ghazani Sabrina Romala. Saya mengajar sebagai dosen di program studi S1 Sastra Inggris Universitas Sanata Dharma. Bidang ilmu yang saya tekuni adalah linguistik penerjemahan. Di program studi Sastra Inggris, saya mengajar beberapa mata kuliah seperti English Grammar, English Conversation, ICT in Language Studies, Morphophonology, dan mata kuliah studi penerjemahan seperti Current Issues in Translation dan Theories and Practices of Translation. Di video ini, saya akan menjelaskan deskripsi dan pengelolaan mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation yang meliputi 3 aspek: Delivery, Interaction, dan Assessment atau DIA. Mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation merupakan mata kuliah wajib tempuh dengan kredit 4 SKS. Mata kuliah ini ditawarkan di semester 4 dengan prasyarat mata kuliah Bahasa Indonesia dan English Grammar 2. Mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation memperkenalkan mahasiswa pada bidang penerjemahan dan juga teori-teori yang berkaitan dengan penerjemahan, serta mereka berlatih menerapkan teori-teori tersebut. Dalam mata kuliah ini, mahasiswa menerjemahkan teks bahasa Inggris ke bahasa Indonesia dan sebaliknya. Theories and Practices of Translation dirancang agar mahasiswa dapat memahami berbagai teori penerjemahan yang meliputi kriteria penerjemahan yang baik, metode dan strategi penerjemahan, serta identifikasi masalah dalam penerjemahan. Selain teori, mahasiswa juga diberikan kesempatan untuk praktek, yaitu memproduksi teks terjemahan dalam berbagai genre, seperti teks populer, ilmiah, hukum, dan sastra dari bahasa Inggris ke bahasa Indonesia dan juga sebaliknya. Di akhir perkuliahan Theories and Practices of Translation, mahasiswa diharapkan dapat menjelaskan teori, menganalisis masalah, dan menerapkan metode serta strategi penerjemahan untuk menghasilkan terjemahan yang setara dan berterima dalam berbagai genre teks. Selain itu, mahasiswa diharapkan dapat menunjukkan ketelitian dalam menerjemahkan teks, menghormati pendapat orang lain, dan membangun sikap positif dalam komunikasi bahasa, menghargai perbedaan budaya dan bahasa, serta berkolaborasi dalam meningkatkan kualitas terjemahan satu sama lain. Mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation ini dirancang untuk meningkatkan kreativitas dan kepercayaan diri mahasiswa dengan hasil teks yang mereka terjemahkan atau mereka produksi. Karena dalam terjemahan tidak ada yang 100% benar atau salah, jadi mereka didorong untuk percaya diri, berpikir kritis, dan out of the box sehingga mereka tidak terpaku pada teks asli yang akan mereka terjemahkan. Topik-topik mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation dirancang ditempuh dalam 16 pekan, termasuk 2 kali ujian. Materi pembelajaran meliputi beberapa topik umum, yaitu perkembangan teori dan praktik penerjemahan, yang meliputi perspektif penerjemahan, sejarah studi dan praktik penerjemahan. Kemudian ada kriteria penerjemahan yang baik, yang terdiri dari proses penerjemahan, konsep kesepadanan, prinsip penerjemahan, dan kualitas penerjemahan. Kemudian ada juga masalah dalam penerjemahan, berbagai metode dan strategi penerjemahan, termasuk unsur dan satuan gramatikal dalam penerjemahan, strategi penerjemahan, menerjemahkan frasa nomina, teknik untuk menangani masalah tata bahasa dan kohesi, serta penerjemahan teks berbasis genre dan konteks, termasuk teks populer, ilmiah, hukum, dan sastra. Dalam topik ini juga diperkenalkan penerjemahan teks dengan Computer Assisted Translation atau CAT tools berbasis web. Referensi yang digunakan dalam mata kuliah ini adalah buku ajar yang saya susun, Translations We Live By, Exploring Theories and Practices of Translation, dan juga Introducing Translation Studies dari Jeremy Monday. Sistem pembelajaran dan mode perkuliahan yang saya gunakan dalam mengampu mata kuliah ini sebelum pandemi adalah pembelajaran tatap muka. Di masa pandemi ini selama 2 tahun terakhir, Kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation dilaksanakan secara daring dan bauran atau hybrid dengan memaksimalkan Zoom Video Conference dan Learning Management System atau LMS, yaitu belajar.usd.ac.id. Dalam salah satu topik mengenai praktik menerjemahkan teks menggunakan Computer Assisted Translation Tools, kuliah dilaksanakan di Laboratorium Bahasa Fakultas Sastra Universitas Sanata Dharma. Kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation disampaikan dengan beberapa metode yang bervariasi, seperti ceramah dan dialog interaktif yang memperkuat critical thinking mahasiswa dalam bertanya dan menyampaikan pendapat, diskusi kelompok kecil dan besar dalam kelas, studi kasus dengan berbagai case dalam dunia perjemahan yang juga diperkuat dengan sumber referensi terkait, kemudian latihan dan praktik di kelas yang meliputi penugasan individu dan kelompok, serta studi lapangan. Sebelum pandemi, studi lapangan mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation ini dilaksanakan di Museum Sandi Yogyakarta dengan kegiatan menganalisis deskripsi dan informasi koleksi museum dalam bahasa Indonesia dan terjemahannya dalam bahasa Inggris, serta praktik menerjemahkan deskripsi koleksi yang belum diterjemahkan. Sistem penilaian dalam mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation meliputi latihan dan kuis untuk tiap sub CPMK 20%, progress test 20%, dan midterm test 20%. Tes ini mencakup materi yang telah dipelajari sebelumnya. Kemudian, participation and class performance berdasarkan keaktifan dan partisipasi dalam kelas dan diskusi, serta kehadiran di kelas 10%, dan final test atau final project 30%.
Berikut adalah rubrik yang digunakan untuk mengevaluasi hasil teks terjemahan karya mahasiswa. Ada 5 kategori nilai, yaitu 80-100 excellent, 70-79 satisfactory, 60-69 sufficient, 50-59 insufficient, dan 0-49 below standard. Penilaian ini didasarkan pada kualitas, keberterimaan, serta tata bahasa dari teks terjemahan yang dihasilkan.
Penawaran final test atau final project disesuaikan dengan dinamika kelas. Final test dilakukan dengan written test di LMS, dan final project yang pernah kami lakukan adalah menerjemahkan novel atau lagu dan dibuat video klip. Video klip kemudian diunggah ke YouTube dan dapat ditelusuri dengan tagar Translation Project USD. Salah satu materi dalam kelas Theories and Practices of Translation adalah menerjemahkan frasa nomina atau translating noun phrase. Mari kita simak rekaman perkuliahannya. Selamat menyaksikan.
Hi guys, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, ma'am.
Hello, good
Morning,
morning.
ma'am. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, how are you doing, guys? I hope everyone is fine, yeah. So, guys, welcome back to the Theories and Practices of Translation class. Anyway, please mark your attendance first, guys, at Belajar. We have come to the 10th meeting, so I hope you're still excited to discuss theories and practices of translation with me in this semester. Before we start the class, it will be better for us to pray together. Maura, can you please lead the prayer?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I will lead the prayer secara Katolik. Yang lain dipersilahkan untuk menyesuaikan. Dalam nama Bapa dan Putra dan Roh Kudus. Amin. Terima kasih ya Bapak untuk pagi dan hari ini yang baru. Sertailah dan berkatilah hari ini dan aktivitas yang akan kami jumpai pada hari ini sehingga dapat berjalan dengan baik dan lancar. Berkatilah pula Mem Almira dan teman-teman kami sehingga kami dapat mengikuti kelas pada pagi hari ini dengan baik dan lancar. Dalam nama-Mu kami berdoa. Amin. Dalam nama Bapa dan Putra dan Roh Kudus. Amin.
Amen. Thank you very much, Maura. Okay, guys. So, are you ready for the class? Let's get started, yeah. Okay, guys. Let me share my screen. Have you seen my screen, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Good. All right. I'll make it full screen. Yeah. Today, in our class, we'll discuss the new topic. In the last meeting, we have discussed translation strategies. Okay. Do you still remember what are the two kinds of strategies we have discussed last week? Monique, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are the two kinds of strategies we have?
The strategies, they are structural and semantic strategies.
Okay, good, excellent. Thank you, Moni. Last week, we have talked about structural and semantic strategies for translation strategies. Okay, so do you know the difference between those two, Yusuf?
Hello, Miss. So the difference is the structural strategy are done to comply with the grammatical rule of the target language, and then semantic strategies mostly deal with the meaning, such as borrowing, equivalence, monovalent, and so on.
Okay, good. Yeah, excellent. Thank you, Yusuf. All right then. So it seems that everyone in this class still remember about our last meeting materials. Today's topic is related to the structural strategy in the translation, guys. Let's look at the slide. Reza, a beautiful dress and the word of us. What kind of structure is it?
I think it's a noun phrase.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, Reza, thank you very much. So this is the noun phrase. Today's topic would be translating noun phrase. Okay guys, in our topic today, we have several objectives here. The first, to comprehend the structure and the context of noun phrases and translate it. And then second, to apply the methods and strategies of translation in translating the noun phrase. And in this context, we are going to learn it from translating the noun phrase from English to Bahasa Indonesia. Are you ready with the material? There are three types of noun phrases. The first one is pre-modifier plus head, and then the second, head plus modifier, and the third one, we have both pre-modifier and post-modifier attached to the head of the noun words. Okay. The first type for the noun phrase, we have pre-modifier plus head. For example, here guys, we have the phrase a good boy. First thing first, when we are translating a noun phrase, we need to pick the head word first, because it is very crucial in translating it to Bahasa Indonesia. The head of the noun phrase here is boy, yeah guys, because it's the noun. And then good here is the descriptive adjective, act as pre-modifier. And when we are translating this construction to Bahasa Indonesia, the head word will be put in the beginning of the noun phrase in Bahasa Indonesia. So boy into anak laki-laki, and then it will be followed by the pre-modifier in English. So it is put after the head. So we have to reorder or transpose the word in the noun phrase. And usually when we have adjective here, we translate it by using the word yang in Bahasa Indonesia. And for the determiner here, we have and sometimes we don't really use seorang or sebuah in Bahasa Indonesia because it just sounds too formal. So sometimes we can just omit it. Yeah, in some contexts we don't really need to use the article here. So anak laki-laki yang baik in terms of meaning is already sufficient. And then let's move to the next example. We have an unaffordable cell phone. It is translated into sebuah HP yang harganya tak terjangkau. So unaffordable is translated into yang harganya tak terjangkau. So if you can see here the pattern, yeah guys, the head from English to Bahasa Indonesia, they are different in terms of order, and also the modifier will be put after the head in Bahasa Indonesia. Okay, so let's move to the second part. Yeah, we have head plus post modifier. In this example, yeah guys, a woman with the heart of gold. So it is translated into wanita berhati emas. So again, yeah guys, the head here, women, in Bahasa Indonesia, it is usually put in the beginning of the noun phrase. And then it will be followed by post modifier. Usually for post modifier in English or in the form of prepositional phrase, and in Bahasa Indonesia, you can translate literally by wanita dengan hati emas. It can be simplified by using the prefix ber, because ber means having, right? So it's just the same. And in terms of meaning, they are the same and similar. And then the other example is the theory of everything, or teori segalanya. So the theory, yeah, the head is put in the beginning of the Indonesian noun phrase, and then of everything is put after the head here. Teori segalanya. Okay, so let's move to the last part of the noun phrase. So in this type, we have both pre-modifier and post-modifier attached to the head. So for example here, a comfortable house by the river. So can you guess which one is the head in this construction? BW, a comfortable house by the river. Which one is the head?
The head is house, miss.
Okay, great, excellent, good job. Yeah, the head word in this noun phrase is house. So we put house in to be translated in the beginning in Indonesian, yeah. And then after that, yeah, it is followed by the pre-modifier first, guys. The head and then pre-modifier and then the post-modifier. So comfortable here, the modifier of the noun phrase is put after rumah. So rumah nyaman di tepi sungai. So the order would be like this ya guys. In Bahasa Indonesia, yeah, we follow the order of the English one from head and then the English pre-modifier and also post-modifier. And usually the construction is similar to this, guys. Okay, let me show you another example. The charming lady in red. So we put the head, lady becomes wanita, and then the pre-modifier, adjective, yeah, charming into menawan, and then followed by the post-modifier in red atau berbusana merah. Okay, guys, so from the explanation of how we translate noun phrases, do you have questions before we move to the next part?
So far, so good, ma'am.
Okay, good, thank you. Right then, so let's just continue with the exercise, you guys. Now you're going to try to translate the following noun phrases to good and acceptable Bahasa Indonesia. Alright, the first example, we have a boarding student. So how do we translate this into Bahasa Indonesia ya? Samuel, boarding student in Bahasa Indonesia.
Siswa asrama.
Okay, good. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for the answer. Okay, bisa siswa asrama or murid asrama ya guys. So don't forget to transpose or reorder the word in the noun phrase ya when we are translating from English to Bahasa Indonesia. The other can give me an example of noun phrase.
An extremely expensive gold necklace.
Okay, Sarah, can you please pick one of your friends to translate your noun phrase?
Maybe Monique can answer.
Sebuah kalung emas yang sangat mahal.
Okay, great, excellent. Thank you very much, Monique. Sebuah kalung emas yang sangat mahal. Okay, good. So yeah, it's acceptable and good Bahasa Indonesia ya. Okay, very good, Monique. Okay, I think I'll ask Jen for another example of noun phrase to be translated.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
From me, my noun phrase is a beautiful girl.
A beautiful girl. Okay, so who do you want to pick to translate your noun phrase, Jen?
I choose Elsa Monica, ma'am.
A beautiful girl in Indonesia is gadis yang cantik.
Okay, gadis yang cantik, siapakah dia? Okay, thank you Elsa for the beautiful answer. I'm very happy that you already understood how to translate noun phrases from English to Bahasa Indonesia. Let's do this, guys. Translate this noun phrase, Newton's third postulate, but please use Mentimeter here. I will put the link to our chat box and please send your answer there, okay?
A few moments later.
Alright guys, thank you very much for the submission. So I can see that there are several different answers for translating Newton's third postulate into Bahasa Indonesia. So some of you translated into hukum Newton ketiga, hukum ketiga Newton, dalil ketiga Newton, hukum Newton yang ketiga, tesis ketiga Newton. So I'm going to highlight our discussion on the answers from the majority ya. Hukum Newton ketiga and hukum ketiga Newton. So we have different order of the word here. If we have hukum Newton ketiga, it can be understood that there is another Newton. So Newton pertama, Newton kedua, and Newton ketiga. Because we know that in English naming system, there are some names that is followed by a number, you guys, because there are several people with the same name. Jadi bukan Newtonnya, bukan hukum yang ketiga, tapi Newton yang ketiga. Jadi ada beberapa Newton. And in hukum ketiga Newton, so it will be understood that there are another hukum or another theory from Newton. As we know that in physics, yeah guys, there are 3 postulates or theories proposed by Newton. So in this case, yeah guys, the most acceptable one is hukum ketiga Newton because it's the hukum who has more than one number, not the person. Okay, so do you get the difference? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So it means that guys, we need to understand the meaning and also the structure of the noun phrase to the most acceptable one used in Bahasa Indonesia, guys. So which one can make ambiguous meaning and which one would be straightforward. Let's continue. We come to the group discussion. You will be divided into several groups. There are 5 groups or 5 breakout rooms. After this, I will open the breakout room. So please join the breakout room that you are assigned to and then meet your group members and discuss and finish the exercise on Padlet with your group members. I have provided you with the link of the Padlet and there are several noun phrases to be translated from English to Bahasa Indonesia. In 10 minutes, please discuss and finish the exercise with your group members. Do you have questions, guys? No? Okay, so please join the breakout room.
10 minutes later.
So we are going to review some of your works in translating the noun phrase, guys, from English to Bahasa Indonesia. We are going to use wheel of names to pick the group that will present their work. Okay, I will invite one of the group members to present their work in translating noun phrases from English to Bahasa Indonesia. So who will be picked? Okay, so group 2, please welcome group 2 to present their work. You can present this noun phrase, Inul's typical bump and green dance. Okay, from group 2, Tita.
Tarian goyangan tipikal Inul.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer, group 2 and Tita. Okay, so it's very good, and sometimes we can also replace the word typical into khas, yeah. It's also commonly used in Bahasa Indonesia. Okay, so that's for Inul's typical bump and green dance, guys. So because we know that Inul's dance is called ngebor, so we can just use it in the Indonesian translation of the noun phrase, goyang ngebor khas Inul. I'll pick another group to present their work. Okay, group 5. Okay, a clearly stated problem. Dimas.
Yes, ma'am. Masalah yang dinyatakan dengan jelas.
Okay, masalah yang dinyatakan dengan jelas. You guys have successfully put the hat in the beginning of the Indonesian noun phrase and then followed by the premodifier. Okay, great. Thank you, group 5 and Dimas. Okay, guys, thank you very much for the submission for the exercise answer. And do you have questions, guys, about our materials today? It seems that everyone has already understood and also know how to translate the noun phrases from English to Bahasa Indonesia. I'm so happy that everyone can translate from English to Bahasa Indonesia in this context with noun phrases in a very good way and also in a very informative way. Everyone and every group is so creative, and sometimes you come up with a surprising answer that I haven't expected before. So I'm so proud of you guys, and from this I also learned from you. Okay, guys, do you have questions before we move to the next part? Emma? Okay, thank you, Milka. Okay, so guys, if you have no question, let's just conclude our materials today. So let's conclude this together, guys. So what have we learned today in translating noun phrases from English to Bahasa Indonesia? Mika, what is the first thing that we have learned?
First thing is we have to understand the meaning and the structure of the noun phrase in order to translate it.
Okay, so understand the meaning?
The meaning and the structure.
And the structure of the noun phrases. Yeah. And what else?
In order to translate it.
Okay, in order to translate it. Okay, good. Okay, and then what else, guys? Understand the meaning and the structure, yeah, guys, so that our translated noun phrases would be precise and acceptable in Bahasa Indonesia. And then what else, guys? This one.
Noun phrase comes with a pre-modifier and post-modifier.
Okay, good, Reza. Noun phrase comes with pre-modifier
and post-modifier.
Okay, good. Okay, and then what about the head? The head comes first, yeah? Right, in Bahasa Indonesia.
Yes, but in English, the head verb usually at the very end of the phrase.
Okay, good. So let's sum up this, yeah. In Bahasa Indonesia, the head is usually first. Okay, usually come first, and then followed by the pre-modifier and post-modifier, yeah. Wikan, do you want to add?
No, ma'am. I think it's covered all of that we learned today.
Good, thank you, Wikan. So yeah, guys, let's sum up our materials today together. Okay, so yeah, guys, in translating noun phrases, first we need to understand the meaning, and also we scrutinize the structure of the noun phrase in order to translate it. And then the noun phrase comes with pre-modifier and post-modifier, and in Bahasa Indonesia the head comes first and then followed by the pre-modifier and post-modifier. Okay, good, guys. So do you have questions in translating noun phrases?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. So let's wrap up our class today, guys. So yeah, if you have no questions, so please, after this, open your module on page 51, guys, in exercise 2, still about translating noun phrases. Yeah, guys, please finish it on your module, and please check your LMS for the practice and also for the next week's materials. We'll be discussing translating idiomatic expressions. Yeah, guys, so please watch the video lesson and also do the practice before our class next week. Yeah. Okay, guys, so thank you very much. So because we begin our class today by praying, so let's also pray together to end our class today. Okay, Mika, can you please lead the prayer?
Yes, Miss.
Okay.
Teman-teman, sebelum kita mengakhiri pelajaran kita pada hari ini, mari kita berdoa. Doa saya pimpin secara Katolik, yang lain silakan menyesuaikan. Dalam nama Bapa dan Putra dan Roh Kudus, amin. Ya Bapak, terima kasih atas berkat-Mu pada hari ini, sehingga Engkau dapat melancarkan kegiatan pembelajaran kami pada hari ini. Semoga apa yang telah kami pelajari pada hari ini dapat berguna bagi kehidupan kami selanjutnya. Demi Yesus Tuhan dan pengantara kami, haleluya, amin. Dalam nama Bapa dan Putra dan Roh Kudus, amin.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mika, for the prayer. Okay, guys. So, yeah, that's all for today. Thank you very much for joining this class. So, I'll see you again next week. And don't forget to check your LMS for the practice and also for the next materials. Thank you, guys. See you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Thank you, miss you. Ma'am. Have a nice day.
Demikian gambaran perkuliahan mata kuliah Theories and Practices of Translation. Semoga berguna dan dapat menginspirasi. Terima kasih dan sampai jumpa. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semoga Tuhan memberkati. Terima kasih.